to go to daycare if I need him to. I get to raise him at home and at the club. And after a year, we were making $10,000 a month. The first extravaganza we were ever at, we were recognized for Get Team. Last year, we were up here for Meal Team, and here we are today for President and Executive President Team.
So what's up, Herbalife? Crazy, huh? Vegas, man, the Gen H party last night, completely out of control. A lot of fun. I know my person got a little too out of control, so if I offended anyone, I apologize. But, you know, it is what it is. We all learn, we grow. It's Herbalife. I love this place, guys. Like Andrew said, I got started about 2.5 years ago as a personal trainer. I went to college to do that, had a huge passion for fitness and a huge passion for nutrition, and thought personal training was my route. And I moved with my best friend Tim to Dallas, and we started our own personal training business. And really thought it was a plan for success. We followed all the right rules. We got the education, we got the certifications, we got the business, we worked diligently, we worked hard. And just like Andrew said, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, when the economy took a hit, people couldn't afford high-end personal training. And unfortunately, we suffered because of it. And all the hard work, all the education, all the time, you know, the 70-hour weeks, all of a sudden we found ourselves dead broke. And really didn't know what to do. And actually was receiving an email over and over and over. So if you guys got people you're emailing or talking to, don't give up on them. I think she sent me an email about 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 times before I responded back to her. I finally got broken up. I was like, I gotta look at something. It's Christmas time, I'm dead broke. And so I called her up and came in, got signed up, was super excited about it. She did the right thing, and she sent me over to Dan Walden's house. That night I was sitting in Dan Walden's house, his living room, and he showed me a picture of Sean Dole and his wife, and said, you could be like them. And then he told me how much money they make, and I said, I'm in, let's do it. And it's been a ride ever since, man. It's just been amazing. We keep plugging the trainings, we're doing what we're doing now, just following Mark Hugh's dream, eating the products, getting people results. And like Andrew said, it's been life-changing, guys. It's been an absolutely phenomenal experience. Every time we come back here, it's a new pin, new level, watching best friends grow, and it's just been absolutely phenomenal, guys. Best month, right? I still train full-time. My wife gets to stay at home when she wants to. My little boy gets to grow up with us again. We got a new one on the way, like she says, and it's been absolutely phenomenal, guys. Best month, $20,000, so it's been absolutely great. And our bonus kicks in next month, so we haven't even kicked in yet. So thank you, guys.
Well, guys, I'm really excited to be up here. Basically, 3 years ago, I was actually sitting back there in the back, you know, in the stands with some of you guys back there. I want to wave at all you guys. You can really get up here. I really want to kind of share a story with you. Maybe just hopefully it can inspire some of you guys to actually, you know, just if I can do this, anybody can really do this. I actually I grew up in a little bitty town in Allen, Oklahoma. I grew up very poor. Okay, my dad was making $3.75 an hour. I had 3 brothers. Raised us all on that. I don't know how he did it, but he made it happen. You know, and I always wanted more than what my family had. And you know, I was like, you know, I was like, the only way you can actually do it is like, okay, I was always taught to go to college. So, you know, I kind of went that road, and I couldn't read when I got out of high school. You know, it was a really tough deal, so I really I struggled with that. Took some reading course in college, barely made it in. Graduated college, went down to Dallas, you know, just kind of, you know, fulfilling my dream. You know, I was like, you know, graduate from college, you get a job, you think life was going to be really sweet, you know. And what I found out is I was a personal trainer at Lifetime Fitness. I was actually the #1 trainer there for several months in a row, but I was working 70, 80 hours a week, you know, and I didn't have, like, you know, any time, you know, I didn't have a life. I was making so much money for the company, I was barely taking home anything. I was, you know, you think about it, you know, in Oklahoma too, where we're at, you know, you're making $40,000 a year, you're doing awesome. You know, you really think that. You know, I went down there and I was making 65, but I had no time. So I did that for about a year and a half, and I realized, well, you know what, there's got to be something more. And so I actually went, I'm not going to tear up or anything, but anyways, like, you know, it was a big deal, you know, and I went to my entrepreneur spirit, and I was like, you know, I went to this personal training studio, started training half the time, and I started making a lot more money, and I had a little bit of time, but what happened, you know, everybody was around 2008, the economy crashed, you know. Well, if you're a personal trainer, it's a tough business, you know, because basically you're after 1% of the market, that 1% of the market gets a lot smaller. I mean, you're struggling, you know, and I was definitely living above my means. I had a brand new house built, I had a brand new car, and not thinking anything would happen, you know, and well, it did. I lost my clients, I lost everything. I lost my house, I lost my car, and I was like, man, what am I going to do? And I still continued trying to personal train. I saw personal training studios going out of business. I saw gyms going out of business. I was like, what I was going to do? My buddy Chris, you know, ran into Herbalife. I was still, you know, going this little path, and he was trying to get me into Herbalife, and I didn't know anything to do with it. I didn't know what it was about. I was like, dude, I've tried how's it better than any other product? you know, until I got on it. But the biggest thing is like, you know, it took him only 2 weeks to get me on it, but he actually tricked me into going to Dan Walter's house. He called me up, and he was like, Tim, I just want to take you to lunch. After we normally hang up phones, like, listen, I'm taking lunch, but I don't really want to hear anything about this Herbalife. I don't want to hear about it. And I'm the one that's arrogant. I had no money in my pocket. You know, I need something to happen. And he took me over to this guy's house, and you know, Dan Walter, he saw his house up there, and I was like, I thought he owned the company. I didn't know anything about it. I was like, this guy must own Herbalife or something. You know, it's you know, but the coolest thing is I walked in his house, and I was so arrogant and so prideful, and he didn't try to sell me on anything. He didn't care if I was in the business. He just said, Tim, this is what it is. The way we do it at Herbalife, you get on these products, you get so impacted with these products, you can have a business. So number one, get on these products, and then we'll talk about business. So that's what I did. I got some incredible results, and you know what we do in Herbalife, you get good results, you talk to people. You see a good movie, you talk to people. That's what happened. So I continued this path, and you know, I started plugging in. The biggest thing is I feel like it's suicide if you don't plug in this business. It's suicide. You have to plug in. You stay plugged in, you're around this. You know, that's what it's really all about. And so I continue plugging in. Am I right? And this is what it's all about. You see the swords on the top stage? And that's what it's about. Right here, if you have a heart, you'll do Herbalife, the way I look at it. I mean, look what we're doing. We're making a difference, you know? 65 million people we've helped. I mean, there's so many more people out there. I feel like the people you don't like, that's the people you're not going to tell about Herbalife. I mean, is that right? I mean, seriously. If you love somebody, you'll tell them about it. So we have a way. We have a way to help them out. Finances and their health. That's what it's about. Well, anyways, I really started plugging in. 14 months in, I'm at $10,000 a month. I was like, wow, $10,000 a month. I mean, if you ever, you know, coming from real poor, making $10,000 a month, I was like, dude, I didn't know what to think, man. I had all this money coming in. I kind of started playing a little bit, and you know what? You know, in January, I was like, you know, I'm going back to work. And you know, and it's crazy. Just this year, we're from $10,000 to $40,000 a month. I mean, $40,000 a month. I'm barely, all right, in the bank account. I mean, is that not crazy? How much would your life change? $10,000 a month, right? Would that not change your life? $10,000 a month, and then $40,000 just this year. I mean, mind-boggling. But I'm really excited, you know, what the future holds. I'm going to thank everybody up here because I couldn't have done it with, you know, leaders like Dan, you know, leaders like that always come to Dallas, doing these STS trainings. All of you guys, you know, Mark Hughes giving us the dream, giving us the opportunity. I mean, we're really in the right company. You know, there's so many more people out there that needs us, and so many more people out there needs what we got. You know, through the products, and you know, also changing their finances. You know, because look what happened to me. Why could not happen to you? So.
Tim Files, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. It's my best friend in the world right there. So, my name is David Hayes. I'm from Ada, Oklahoma, and thank you so much. It's absolutely surreal to be on this stage. When you get into Herbalife, you dream about being up here, and when you get up here, it's literally a dream come true, and not very many people live their actual dream. So, the first thing I want to be is extremely thankful for Tim Files, my best friend in the world here. I have a kidney disease. It's an incurable kidney disease, and I was really struggling with it. But yet, I had my most fit friend in the whole world trying to get me into Herbalife, and I turned him down for 4 months. It's what Michael Burton calls ignorant arrogance, and I really love that phrase because it's so true. I didn't have anything going for me. I had intense acid reflux. I was sleeping in a lazy boy at night to keep acid reflux out of my mouth. I had stabbing pains in my intestines, stabbing pains in my kidneys, you know, blood in my urine and other kinds of gross things like that. An active disease lifestyle. Now, I want to be clear whenever I say these kinds of things again. Herbalife doesn't cure anything, but your body is an absolutely amazing thing. So when you get the right nutrition in, it does amazing things. So at 26 years old, I was looking at dialysis. So I went up to Tim, and one of my other favorite things about Herbalife is I didn't even know what I needed. I knew I had $150, and I knew I had somebody to ask. So Tim sent me an order of some products from Herbalife. Within a couple of days, my symptoms really started to go away. You know, I didn't have the reflux I used to have, and my life really turned around. Over 5.5 weeks, I dropped about 31 pounds of poisons out of my body. I began sleeping at night. I was awake during the day, and just like Tim said, when you see a great movie, you share it. Well, when your life completely turns around from being scared, you know, of literally not being able to live a normal life anymore, or possibly even being on your deathbed in your mid-20s. When you get out of that, it's incredible. It's absolutely crazy. And you don't look at telling people this doesn't seem like selling anything. It seems like sharing an opportunity with people. My parents had different health issues. My dad was on his deathbed at the time, and I wanted to share things with him to see if he could get better. So when I got into the Herbalife business, it was simply by really getting into my circle of influence. There's two kinds of people you know, people you don't know. Well, if you don't like somebody at all, don't tell them about Herbalife. Because if you like them, they need to at least know that this is an opportunity. A lot of people are really in a bad place in this world right now. And Herbalife stands for so much that is right. In health and in wealth, those are the obvious pieces. But also, you know, what we get to do is we get to love people every day. We get to smile at people and encourage people every single day. And it's powerful to be on the receiving end of that, but it's also powerful to be on the end that actually gets to put that out there into our world today. So thank you so much for recognizing that. Over just 2 years, my income grew from, $600 to my best month being $21,276. That's what my parents made combined growing up. I was the kid growing up, I'd make my parents drop me off a block from school so people wouldn't see the vehicle we were in, and I'm just so ashamed of that these days because my parents loved me so much, and I didn't appreciate the hard work that they put into things. So the beauty of this, I'm a musician, and I'm looking at getting some success in development in Nashville. But guess what? I can't let you do that. I can't help you do that. By success here, I get to include all of you guys in this. So what I loved, when I got this President's Team pin, the coolest thing about it, nowhere on it, not even on the back, if you don't know. It doesn't say David Hayes anywhere on that. It describes my team. And I have the best team, I think, in the whole world. If I could get on my knees right now, you have no idea how thankful I am for each and every one of you. Another thing that is so clear in my mind right now is how important personal development is. Dan Waldron introduced me to personal development. It's made me grow in ways I couldn't believe. And finally, if I had been in this company at the ground floor, I wouldn't be here today at all. So I'm so thankful for you guys that went through the trenches. Leslie, I wouldn't trade your check for what you went through in a million years. So thankful for our corporate team. You guys, it's never been this easy. Get on this boat. Thank you, Herbalife.